Hello, I'm Dragos, and in this video we are going to check an S3 compatible object storage solution that it's an alternative to Minio that locked their new version against their commercial license. And in this video we are going to check RustFS. This is an new application that is open source, and it's an alternative to Minio, and you can install it in any operating system. You can install it on Linux, you can install it with the help of Docker, you can install it with macOS, with Windows. And in this video we are covering how you can deploy this with the help of Docker. So you can add a domain and link it to your applications or to your backup solutions. And this is their website, rustfs.com. And in here you see that right now they are in alpha. So RustFS right now it's at beginning and is not recommended to use it for production applications. I advise you to first test it and see if it has the things that you need for your production application. I have started using it for a couple of weeks, and this is the repository. In here you see that it has about 20k stars, and in here you see that it is faster than Minio with 2.3. This is their claims, and they are working on adding new features to RustFS, and this is lightweight. And in this video we are going to see how you can use it. And in here I have already installed it, and this is their interface. I have installed it on an Docker container in a Hasner VPS server that I have, and in here you have their UI. You have also an API endpoint that can be used for your application, and in here you see that you have the browse, and in here you have the buckets, so you can easily create a new bucket if you want. So you can put a bucket name, you can enable versioning, you can enable object lock, you can enable retention for this, and already we have 2 buckets. And in here if you are going to check these buckets, you're going to see the settings, and in here you can see that you can make this bucket public or private or custom. You can enable encryption, you can add tags, you can lock the objects, enable version control for this, retention, and this is about for the bucket settings. If you are going to go into a bucket, in here you see that I have folders, I have a file, and if you are going to check the file, in here you have the options to download. You can preview the file, this is just a logo, and you can create a temporary URL expiration. So basically you can allow this file to be visible externally with an expiration date in case you want to share something like this. You can share this URL and everyone will have access to this file. And besides that, in here you have the access key. So basically in here, if you want to link RustFS with your application, you just create an access key, and in here you'll have the access key details, and you can set an expiration, a name and description, and you have the options to manage the policies in here, and you can add some JSON policies. In the policies side you have the policies for users, so in here you see that you can add or remove different policies. These are IAM policies like this, and you can go and alter them as you like or add new ones. In here you can add users, you can create users group, you can import and export things like users, IAM policies, user groups. In here in the performance you will have the details with the storage space, with objects that are in there, with the user report and so on. And in bucket settings you can enable events for this in case you have an event subscription. You can enable bucket replication, so you can link an external S3 provider and enable the replication. So every file that it's sent to RustFS, it can be replicated externally. You have the lifecycle in here, and you can add a lifecycle rule for this. Tiered storage, so in here you can add different external providers for S3 that can be used to replicate the files from here. You have the event destination shown in here to be able to enable the bucket events. You have the event destination and you can add your event destination. So you can add the MQTT or webhook for this, SSC settings, and in here you will have the options to add encryption for your files in case you are interested on this. And yeah, I mean, this is what the RustFS is offering. And in here, for instance, I have linked it to my Notifuse. So Notifuse, it's a newsletter application that can help you send newsletter, and basically to be able to add files in here, you will need to put an S3 compatible solution. And in here you see that I've linked Notifuse with my application, and in here I have the S3 endpoint that I've added to a subdomain. And you have the region. Right now this is optional. You have the S3 access key and secret key that was created when you create the access key in there. And here you have the bucket, and yeah, you have the path style and the CDN endpoint in case you're using CDNs. And after you put everything in here, you have the options to upload files. So you can, for instance, upload the different files in here. So let's see what I have in here. You can add this image, and in here you see that right now you have this image that was added in here. And if you are going to templates, if you're going to edit a template in here, you will have the options to go and browse images. And in here you will have the options to choose from the images you have in there, like this. You can add them in here. And right now you can use your S3 application with these applications to serve files or to do various things. And I've created a detailed article of how you can self-host this. I will show you all the things that you need to do to self-host RustFS, so you can test it and see if this is a good replacement for your Minio application. And in here I've put some details. Again, this is quite new, and it is very fast. And in here you see that this application is using 2 ports. So basically the 9000 port is for the S3 API endpoint to link this externally with API. And in case you want to use the web console, you will have this port 9001. And then I have deployed this on Dokploy, which is very easy to do. And in here you will have also the details to just use the Docker Compose in case you want. But I recommend you to use Dokploy because it's easy and it is allowing you to do more things with it. And in here you have the Docker Compose file, and for the Dokploy, in here you see that I have the image. I put it on network, and in here you have RustFS data where the data will be stored, and RustFS logs with the logs. And in here you have some environment variables. You will have which is the data, and in here you have the address with the console address, and you have the options to enable the console and add the user for authentication. So access key, RustFS access key and secret key, and these are the users and the password that you will need to set. You have some health checks in here to see that the application is up and running, and basically that's it. I've added the network and I've deployed it with Dokploy, and then you just go and configure your domains. We're going to see the deployment in there and how it is. In case you want to deploy this with the Docker Compose, I have created also the details in here with what you need to do. So basically you need to create the files, you create the directory in there, and you need to put the 10,001 users on the files that you've created, because this is the users that is used internally by the RustFS. And then you create the Docker Compose files with similar things. And the difference is here that you were going to expose the port for this 9000 and 9001. And then you're creating the environment files with the details, with the users and the password, and then you are just starting the Docker Compose. And in here I have deployed it in Dokploy. So in here, to just deploy it in Dokploy, you're just gonna need to go to the application. We're going to see that and create a new one with a Docker Compose. And in here you have the Docker Compose file. You see that I don't have any exposed ports because Dokploy is using traffic to expose all of these ports for you. That's why it's safer. So it is the same thing that I have presented you in the in the article that I have in here, I have the environment variables with the user and the password, and I've added the domains in here. So I've added 2 domains for the S3, the one for the API, and if you're going to check it, you're going to see that you have the host name with the path, and in here you have the port with now in 1000, and you have the HTTPS with Let's Encrypt, and for the web I have the storage with 9001 port, and that's about it. Then you just hit deploy, and for the domains, in case you want to use them, you need to configure an A record. So in my case I have a wildcard that it will point everything that it's behind the app to the server IP address with Dokploy that I have, but you can create individual records if you want. This is up to you. And to deploy it in here is simple. You just go to Dokploy, in self-hosted application, you create a service like this, you create a compose service, and in here you put a name, storage test, let's say, create, and in here you are gonna open and go to row, and you just need to go and copy my Docker compose file in here. Let's see. Okay, this is the one with Dokploy, like this, and then you are just going to save this like this. In the environment variables, you're gonna need to go and add the details in there. So let's go and see. I'll put S32 for this, and in here I will just put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 password like this. So the user, it will be Bitdoze, and the password, it will be like this. Of course you can create one that it's that it has more strong things, and in here I will put the domain like this. So the server domain, it will be the s32.app.bitdoze.com. I just wanted to show you. And in here I will add 2 domains for this. So I will add first the console. So the console, it will be rustfs.app.bitdoze.com. I will refresh this to check it. I will recheck again the port for this. So for the storage, the console, it will be 9001. So I will put the 9001 in here like this. I will enable HTTPS. Okay, like this. I will add then the s32.app for the API, and again this will be 9000 like this. HTTPS again, create, and right now I have everything set up in here. And if we are going to hit deploy, it should go and deploy the second RustFS for us. This is only the test one that I've created. And in here, if you're going to check domain, and if you're going to open this, it should take a while for the SSL certificate to be created. Okay, right now it's created, and we are going to use the user that we've created, Bitdoze, and in here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, I think it was. Okay, that's correct one. And right now I am logging in here, and I can go and create a bucket with version, with object retention. It's up to you how you want to do it. Then you can go and make it public or private like this. And if you want to access this with the application, you can go and create an access key like this. And in here you have the secret key for this, and then you will have the name like test. And right now you will have the access key and secret key, and you can use the s32 domain that I've added to access this application, and you can go and work with RustFS. And yeah, the recommendation is to go and check it before and see if it has all the things that you need, because right now this is in alpha. But yeah, for my use cases it's quite nice, and it does a pretty good job. So this is RustFS. I hope you enjoyed the video, and in case it helped you have an S3 compatible bucket on your infrastructure, let a comment below with what you think about RustFS, and if you have better alternative to Minio, again let a comment below. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.